of the congregation, the glory of the Lord appeared unto all the congregation. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, Separate yourselves from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. And they fell upon their faces and said, O God, the God of the spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin, and wilt thou be wroth with all the congregation? And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, Speak ye unto the congregation, saying, Get up from about the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. So you see what's happening here before we go further. Because of the foolishness of these men here, God's ready to strike them all. God's ready to consume all the men that have gathered in the congregation around them. And Moses and Aaron plead. Now think about that, church, when you think about that. These were the ones that were stepping over onto the side of Korah. Now they might not have been of the 250 princes, but they were definitely siding with Korah here. And Moses and Aaron's response isn't, yeah, go get them, Lord. Strike them down, Lord. They deserve it. Even though they were lining up with the wrong man. Well, what was the response? Lord, please. Let not the sin of one man or these few consume the entire congregation. Interesting. If anybody had a reason to say, go get him, it would have been Moses, right? But he didn't. I know sometimes people wrong us in life, don't they? Sometimes people say things that may even hurt us. I heard it said this way one time. I can't remember if it was Dr. Privet or maybe even Brother Brown, one of my Bible professors. He said this. He said this, if you're a Christian, when somebody hurts you, you can honestly respond with this. You can't kill a dead man. I remember him saying that. I'm thinking, what in the world is he talking about? What are we to die to flesh? How often are we to die to the flesh? Every day. What is it that gets hurt? Our flesh, our pride. He says you can't kill a dead man. Moses' response isn't justice for himself and how they made him feel or their accusations against him, but rather, Lord, spare them. Spare these that have aligned themselves, and not the entire congregation, Lord. And so Moses pleads, and then you see the response. And the Lord spake, verse 23, unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the congregation, saying, Get up from about the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. He says, look, if you're aligned with them, I'm going to give you this chance. Get out from them. Get away from these men. And Moses rose up and went unto Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spake unto the congregation, and said, Depart, I pray ye, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs, lest ye be consumed in all their sins. So they got up from the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram on every side. And Dathan and Abiram came out and stood in the door of their tents, and their wives, and their sons, and their little children. So these that have aligned themselves, they've stepped away. Abiram and Dathan come to the door of their tent, standing there with wives and grandchildren, little kids. And Moses said in verse 28, Hereby ye shall know that the Lord hath sent me to do all these works. For I have not done them of mine own mind. Moses is saying, look, it hasn't been me. And just as God had often talked to Moses and spoke to Moses, Moses, they're not rejecting you. They're not rebelling against you. They're rebelling against me. And just as those conversations have sunk into Moses' mind, he says, look, I have done them of mine own mind. This isn't my doing. I am the Lord's man. Verse 30, but if the Lord make a new thing, and the earth open her mouth and swallow them up, with all that appertain unto them, and they go down quick into the pit, then ye shall understand that these men have provoked the Lord. That's a very unique situation here. Moses says, look, when push comes to shove and God brings down judgment, if the earth opens up and swallows which side, then we know who's provoked God. That's a very specific, unique judgment. How often have you ever seen the earth open up and swallow and consume? Now, I've seen some pretty wild photos of sinkholes, right? Go ahead, Mike.
The thought that I had, when Moses was talking with the Lord, is very similar to the way Abraham talked to the Lord, and bargained.
Pleaded on their behalf, yeah, with Lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm like, all of them? What if there's 50? What if there's,
yeah.
It's the same, it's kind of the same thread, I think,
Yeah, and I think that shows both Abraham and also Moses' compassion here, right? Compassion even for those that wanted to harm or wanted to pull down, right? Once again, it's a good lesson for you and I of how we should respond to the same actions that might be taken against us. Verse 31. And it came to pass as he had made an end of speaking all these words. So you can imagine, just as he got done saying what would happen, the ground clave asunder that was under them. And the earth scatter thou the fire yonder, for they are hallowed. The censers of these sinners against their own souls, let them make them broad plates for a covering of the altar, for they offered them before the Lord, therefore they are hallowed. And they shall be a sign unto the children of Israel. It's interesting. I love how God throughout the Old Testament often makes a memorial, a sign, a remembrance. And he does so here, making a sign unto the children of Israel. So that way when your kids ask, hey, what's that on the altar? You can say there was a time when those rose up to challenge God. They thought they were challenging Moses, but ultimately they were challenging God. It was a sign to teach that next generation to say God is the one who's in charge. How often in our own lives do we think we're the ones in charge? We get to call the shots, but we're often reminded it is God who's in charge. It is God who places men. It is God who allows men. And I love how often God uses these memorials and these signs, like he did the 12 stones, right? In certain